Now let's go back to the Alex Salmond inquiry in Scotland. We've just been hearing in the past few moments that the Scottish Parliament has decided to remove from its website a submission by him relating to evidence he's expected to give to a committee of MSPs tomorrow. Let's go to our Scotland correspondent, Sarah Smith. Explain what's going on here, Sarah.
Well, this written evidence from Alex Salmond has been the subject of a lot of legal wrangling over the last few weeks. He submitted it to the Holyrood Committee that's investigating claims of sexual harassment against them and how the Scottish Government botched that whole process. In it, he lays out his version of events, basically, but there were concerns about some legal issues around it, and initially the committee said they weren't going to publish it. In that case, Alex Salmond said, I won't turn up and give evidence in front of you in person. Last week, it was decided it could be published, and last night it appeared on the Scottish Parliament's website, so we were all able to read it. But then the Crown Office, the prosecuting authority in Scotland, got in touch and said they had grave concerns about some legal issues around this information being in the public domain. So this morning, the Scottish Parliament has decided to take it down off their website. It's no longer available for you to see there now. They're going to make some changes to it, some redactions, in other words, take some bits of the evidence out, and say they hope to publish it again later today. Now, we don't know yet how much of it they're going to remove, and what we don't know is what implications this might have for Alex Salmond turning up to give evidence. He is scheduled to appear in front of the committee tomorrow, and we are all anxiously waiting to see his appearance, because he has got some explosive allegations to make when he does appear in front of the committee. But if a lot of this evidence is taken out of the public domain, if it's not published, he may refuse to turn up.
And he's said if he does that previously, he'd just give a tell-all interview instead.
Yes, he could choose to give a press conference. He could choose to give an interview, because he does want his side of the story out there. When he says he doesn't want to appear in front of the committee unless this evidence is published, it's not because he thinks he's got anything to hide. It's because he wants all of what he says are the facts of the story out there in public, so that they can be considered by this committee when it puts together its final report. So this is information he wants to make sure sees the light of day. But because of legal concerns about some of what it contains, there has been all this back and forward about what can and cannot be published. And we see this extraordinary battle now going on between the Scottish Parliament and the prosecuting authorities in Scotland, the Crown Office, at odds over what is and what isn't legal to put out there.
I mean, it is an extraordinary drama that has been unfolding. Nicola Sturgeon obviously has been asked again and again about the allegations that are being made, and she likewise has said she's looking forward to being able to give her side of the story and put the record straight on her behalf.
Yes, because you've got Alex Salmond making accusations that Nicola Sturgeon, well, has effectively lied, that she misled Parliament, that she has broken the ministerial code. That's the rules that govern how ministers have to behave. And if any of that's true, then she would be expected to resign as the First Minister of Scotland. She vigorously denies all of the allegations that he has laid against her, and says, as you said, that she'll relish the opportunity to give her evidence and to refute some of what he's saying. But in evidence that was published last night, some evidence which hasn't been taken down off the website, Alex Salmond makes accusations against other people as well, really astonishing claims about a conspiracy at the heart of government, that senior government officials, as well as people at the top of the SNP, were involved in putting together a plot, essentially, to destroy his reputation, to remove him from public life, and he says ultimately to have him imprisoned. Because remember, last year there was a criminal trial. He was accused of 13 counts of sexual assault, although at the end of that trial he was acquitted on all counts. But he says that that the conspiracy that was going on would have seen him jailed if they had had their way. And these are allegations which he wants to explore with the committee under oath in person at some point, which may be at his scheduled appearance tomorrow, but depending on what happens today, possibly that might be put off.
It sounds like the stuff of a TV drama, all the intrigue. It is really complicated, though, as well. Is it cutting through in Scotland?
Well, there are certainly headlines about it on a daily basis at the moment, and people say they are aware of the story. They know what's going on. They know what some of the accusations which are being hurled back and forward between Mr. Salmond and Ms. Sturgeon are. Some pollsters have asked voters what they think about this and how closely they're following it, and quite a number of people have said that they don't really grasp all of the details of it, although appears quite a lot of people have already made up their mind about who they believe, whether it's Nicola Sturgeon or Alex Salmond. But the real cut-through moments are going to come when Mr. Salmond, assuming he does, and when Ms. Sturgeon give their evidence in front of the committee. That's going to be in front of cameras. We're going to be able to watch it. It'll be in public. And that really is going to be absolute box office viewing and the point at which voters will see what's going on. Although that said, I mean, there are a lot of people who are worried that this has been turned into a political soap opera, that it's all about what Alex Salmond says, what Nicola Sturgeon says, when really at the heart of this, what this is supposed to be about is about women who complained about sexual harassment, an investigation that went very badly wrong, and two women who were left without their complaints being thoroughly investigated. This Holyrood Committee is supposed to be making sure that never happens again, making sure that the procedures for people who report any kind of harassment are fit for purpose. But we've moved quite far away from that when we look at the astonishing allegations that are being made by the SNP's two best known and most powerful politicians.
So as things stand, he's supposed to give evidence tomorrow, but he may well not. When will we find out?
Well, this is changing all the time today. We will need to wait and see what it is that goes back up on the Scottish Parliament's website later today, how much of his evidence has been taken out, has been removed from public view. And I imagine at that point, he and his lawyers and his advisors will sit down and work out whether or not there is enough of his story there on the public record for him to be able to talk about it in front of the committee tomorrow, or whether he feels that simply he has been prevented from talking about what he thinks are some very material parts of his version of events.
Thank you very much, Sarah.